Determination was that this is not a drive-by shooting. The shooter is at a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in.
You ever wake up thinking the internet can't possibly get any crazier? Then boom, YNW Melly's murder case drops new footage that looks like it was ripped straight out of a Netflix true crime fever dream. This leak is so wild, it makes the OJ trial look like a kindergarten dispute over crayons. We're talking about visuals so shocking, fans are pausing, rewinding, and losing their collective minds. Some are saying it proves Melly's innocence, others are saying it seals his fate. And the rest? They're just here with popcorn watching the chaos unfold like it's the Super Bowl of street drama. This ain't your average court update. Oh no, this feels like the final boss level of hip-hop controversy. The kind of footage that could literally rewrite history, flip the verdict, and have lawyers sweating harder than Drake at a Kendrick concert. The whispers are turning into roars, the blogs are eating it alive, and Twitter's already crowning this the most insane twist of 2025. Because if what's on that clip is real, the courtroom's about to turn into a movie set, and trust me, you're gonna want front row seats. Buckle up, because this new Melly footage could change everything. When the footage first hit the internet, it didn't just leak, it exploded. Overnight, social media transformed into a digital courtroom, and everyone with a Wi-Fi signal suddenly had a law degree. The clip allegedly shows YNW Melly inside a car minutes before the infamous double homicide that's been haunting headlines for years. But this time, the footage ain't grainy or half-baked. It's crisp, clear, and dripping with controversy. People said it felt like watching a deleted scene from Power, except this one could send a real rapper to prison for life. The leak came out of nowhere. No official release, no statement, just a mysterious video drop that had fans, haters, and legal analysts frothing at the mouth. 1 second, it was quiet in the YNW world. The next, the internet was louder than Kanye's ego. The hashtags blew up faster than a new Drake diss track. Free Melly started trending again, while Josh Melly Did It took over TikTok like wildfire. Even fans who swore they were done with the case found themselves glued to their screens, like it was breaking news on Judgment Day. Let's rewind for a second. YNW Melly, real name Jamel Demons, yeah, irony's already working overtime, was arrested back in 2019 for the murders of his two close friends, YNW Juvie and YNW Sackchaser. The case was already wild. A rapper accused of staging a drive-by to make it look like an ambush, prosecutors claiming he pulled the trigger himself, and Melly grinning through mugshots like he just dropped a platinum album. It had everything: betrayal, fame, death, and the kind of mystery that keeps Reddit threads alive for years. But this new footage, it's like someone hit the turbo button on the drama. Sources claim it was pulled from a dashcam in the area, supposedly syncing up with the time of the murders. The clip shows a dark SUV pulling over, lights flickering, and then something that looks way too close to gunfire. And here's where it gets tricky. Some fans say Melly wasn't even in the same position as prosecutors claimed. If true, that detail alone could throw the entire case into chaos faster than Nicki Minaj deleting a tweet. Lawyers are already calling this a potential game changer. And not the boring kind of legal talk, the kind that makes you lean in closer and wonder who's about to get exposed next. Melly's defense team apparently sees this as their golden ticket, while prosecutors are treating it like someone just set off a fire alarm in their office. The stakes, higher than ever. Because if this footage is legit, it doesn't just poke holes in the state's story, it tears it to shreds. Fans are split right down the middle. Some are convinced this proves Melly's innocent, that he's been framed, targeted, or misjudged because of his lyrics and persona. Others are saying, nah, this just shows how deep he was in it. The comments are brutal. One fan wrote, "Melly's smiling in court like he knows something we don't." Another said, "Bro's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers." Everyone's theories sound like they were written by Quentin Tarantino at this point. Then there's the conspiracy crowd, because of course, the internet can't let a scandal breathe without tossing in some tinfoil. Some are saying this footage was intentionally leaked by someone inside the system, maybe to sway public opinion before the retrial. Others claim it's fake, AI-generated, or deep-faked by people trying to clear Melly's name. Welcome to 2025, where even murder evidence might need a Photoshop analysis. You can't trust anything without 3 sources and a lie detector test anymore. The memes? Oh, they came fast. Twitter turned the footage into a full-blown meme fest. One user captioned a still shot, When you realize your Uber driver's plotting a mixtape instead of the route. Another joked, "This looks like GTA when you hit record instead of restart." It's wild how people can turn the darkest situations into trending content before breakfast. But behind the laughter, the tension is real. This isn't just about memes or clout. It's about whether this man's life will be spent behind bars or not. The prosecutors have built their case on ballistic reports, phone data, and those chilling text messages that had fans convinced Melly confessed through emojis. Now, if this new footage contradicts even a fraction of that, the entire foundation of their argument could collapse like a house of cards in a hurricane. Media outlets jumped on it instantly. TMZ, Shade Room, academics, everybody wanted a piece of the pie. Some networks ran it blurred, others went all in with slow-mo breakdowns and expert commentary from people who probably learned law from YouTube shorts. Even courtroom analysts were split, some saying this could save Melly, others saying it's too little, too late, and Melly himself. Sources say he's reacting like only Melly would, smiling, calm, almost like he expected this twist all along. The man's sitting in one of the most unpredictable murder cases in hip-hop history, and he's acting like it's all part of the rollout for his next album. His supporters see that as confidence, his critics call it arrogance. Either way, the internet can't stop talking about it. YNW Melly, Melly's co-defendant and longtime friend, also got dragged back into the spotlight. People started connecting dots, analyzing every word, every photo, every old clip. It's like the YNW saga got a reboot nobody asked for, but everybody's watching. Rumors even started that Bortland might have been the one behind the footage leak, though there's zero proof. Still, when has lack of proof ever stopped the internet from running wild? Even rappers outside the YNW circle started reacting. Kodak Black dropped a cryptic story post with the eye emoji. Lil Durk liked a suspicious tweet. Boosie went live and called the whole situation Hollywood for real. Every reaction just added gasoline to a fire that's already blazing. Hip-hop isn't just watching this case, they're studying it, because everyone knows how easily the system can twist a narrative when you're famous. Young and black in America. What makes this all crazier is the timing. The footage dropped right when Melly's legal team was preparing for another hearing, almost like it was meant to shake things up. Was it coincidence, strategy, or just the universe reminding us that 2025 refuses to be boring? Either way, the timing couldn't be worse or better, depending on which side you're on. And of course, the internet detectives have already dissected every frame. They're zooming in, adjusting brightness, comparing timestamps. One viral TikTok claimed to enhance the sound to reveal new audio, but all it did was spark more confusion. People swear they hear voices in the background saying things like "move the car" or "get low." But let's be honest, it could just be bad compression. Still, that didn't stop 1,000 comment sections from screaming "new proof," like they just solved the Zodiac case. What's undeniable is this: the public perception has shifted again. For a long time, the narrative was simple. Melly was guilty, end of story. But now uncertainty's creeping back in. Fans who gave up are reconsidering. Critics are backpedaling. Even the mainstream media, who love to pick a villain and stick with it, are starting to sound unsure. The phrase reasonable doubt is trending again, and not because of Jay-Z. The crazy part, this is just the beginning. Because if one piece of footage can cause this much chaos online, imagine what else might be sitting in someone's hard drive, waiting to drop. One more leak, one more revelation, and this entire case could flip upside down. For Melly, this isn't just about proving innocence. It's about rewriting his entire legacy. For the rest of the world, it's just another reminder that truth, fame, and controversy never stay quiet for long. And as the noise grows louder, one thing's becoming painfully clear. In the YNW universe, nothing stays buried forever. Not secrets, not friendships, and definitely not footage. Not friendships, and definitely not footage. If the internet was already on fire before, what happened next turned it into a digital inferno. Every influencer, rapper, and wannabe journalist jumped into the chaos like it was Black Friday at the clout store. People were reacting faster than they could fact check. and half the takes flying around could fuel a full-blown documentary of their own. The wildest part? Even celebrities who had nothing to do with YNW Melly suddenly found themselves dragged into the mix. Twitter Spaces turned into courtroom debates. TikTok Lives became crime scene reenactments. One moment, someone's breaking down the angle of a shadow on the footage like they're CSI Miami. The next, someone's claiming it proves Melly was framed by industry plants. Yeah, because when in doubt, blame the Illuminati, right? Meanwhile, fans flooded Melly's old music videos, leaving comments like, "He was telling us all along," and "This man tried to warn us in Murder on My Mind," as if those lyrics were written by a psychic trying to confess through Spotify. The internet loves patterns where none exist, but this time, people were connecting dots so aggressively, they might as well have been painting murals. The controversy went so viral that even the news networks had to stop pretending they weren't watching. CNN ran a segment titled, "How Social Media Could Impact the YNW Melly Trial." Fox News called it a dangerous glorification of criminal culture. Meanwhile, YouTubers were raking in millions of views analyzing every frame, turning this case into the world's most profitable tragedy. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. A second video clip, not a full leak, just a few blurry seconds that appeared out of nowhere on Reddit. This one allegedly showed the aftermath, with what looked like Melly walking away from the vehicle. Whether it was real or not didn't matter. The internet had already made up its mind. Half the world screamed, "Innocent," while the other half yelled, "Guilty," louder than ever. Even people inside the music industry started whispering about cover-ups. Some said the footage was old, doctored, or taken out of context. Others claimed the prosecutors had been sitting on it the whole time, waiting for the right moment. It's like the truth got caught in a custody battle. Everyone wanted ownership, but no one had proof. YNW Melly's mom posted a cryptic story with a simple caption, "They can't hide the truth forever." That single post detonated across the internet like a bomb. Fans flooded her comments begging for answers. The blog spun it as a confirmation, while others accused her of playing into the hype. But one thing's certain, she knows more than she's saying. And in a case where every word matters, silence sounds louder than anything. Bortlen, on the other hand, went quiet. No posts, no interviews, just pure ghost mode. But of course, that only made people talk more. Some fans started calling him the key witness of the century, while others said he's keeping quiet because the footage exposes something deeper than anyone's ready for. Either way, the man's name was back in every algorithm from YouTube to Instagram, and that alone meant the story wasn't dying anytime soon. At the same time, the courtroom energy shifted. Legal analysts started using words like reasonable doubt and narrative collapse. The prosecution reportedly scrambled to verify the footage, but by then, the court of public opinion had already ruled. The memes were too strong, the opinions too loud. Facts didn't matter anymore, clout did. This is where things get wild. Rappers started picking sides. Kodak posted Frida Real. Lil Uzi commented on a fan page, "That video don't prove nothing far." Boozy jumped back online calling the prosecutors dirty and saying Melly's case was bigger than music. Even DJ Academics did a 2-hour live stream calling it the most confusing evidence drop of the decade. The line between justice and entertainment completely disappeared. Then TikTok took it to another level. People started acting out the leaked footage in skits. Some were serious. Most were pure chaos. One viral clip showed a group recreating the moment in a parking lot, rapping along to "Murder on My Mind" while flashing toy guns. The caption? "This evidence got me rethinking my whole playlist." Welcome to the internet, where tragedy turns into trends overnight. And the memes didn't stop there. One had Melly's face photoshopped onto the Mission Impossible poster with the caption, "Operation, beat the case." Another had a fake courtroom image labeled Melly v. the State of confusion. Even courtroom sketches were being turned into NFTs. Nothing sacred anymore. Not even murder evidence. The craziest part is that while all this chaos was exploding online, Melly's legal team stayed eerily calm. One of his attorneys gave a short statement saying, "We're aware of the circulating footage and confident the truth will prevail." That's it. No denial, no outrage, just pure poker face. And that silence drove everyone insane. Because when a scandal's this hot, silence sounds like strategy. The prosecutors, though, they looked cornered. Reports surfaced that they were trying to block the footage from being admissible, arguing it was unauthorized and unverifiable. Translation: They're sweating bullets. The entire internet's watching, and every move they make looks like damage control. It's the kind of high-stakes pressure that makes careers, or ends them. Meanwhile, Reddit detectives discovered that the metadata from the footage didn't match the official police files. That sparked a whole new theory. What if this isn't leaked evidence at all, but a manipulated copy meant to plant doubt? Suddenly, the internet's no longer just arguing guilt or innocence. It's debating what's real. In a world of deep fakes and digital lies, this case just became the ultimate test of perception versus truth. And you know what's crazy? The louder the debate got, the more Melly's music started charting again. Streams of his old songs skyrocketed. Murder on My Mind hit playlists again like it was 2019. Even unreleased tracks started leaking, feeding the cycle of controversy like a serpent eating its own tail. Fans were quoting lyrics like prophecy, saying he predicted all this. Others accused him of romanticizing tragedy for fame. Either way, Melly's name was back on everyone's lips, and the numbers didn't lie. Every social media platform turned into a battlefield. People were dueling in comment sections like medieval knights, one side screaming "Free Melly," the other typing "Justice for Juvie and Sackchaser." It got so toxic that even the platform started shadow banning posts just to slow it down. But that only made it trend harder. Nothing goes viral like something they try to hide. You could feel the tension bleeding into hip-hop culture itself. Artists stopped mentioning Melly's name in interviews. Collaborations got paused. Labels got nervous. This case had gone from a courtroom drama to a full-blown cultural earthquake, shaking everything in its path. Because if this footage could flip Melly's case, what does that mean for every other artist fighting the same kind of scrutiny? Even politicians started chiming in. One Florida senator called the leak a disgrace to due process. Another used it as ammo in a speech about crime glorification in music. It's like everyone wanted a piece of the story, whether they knew the details or not, because controversy sells, and this one's a goldmine. And just when the noise couldn't get louder, a leaked message thread started circulating online. It allegedly showed someone claiming they had more footage that the public hadn't seen yet. The internet lost its collective mind. Suddenly, everyone's talking about a part 2 of the leak, something that could be even worse or better, depending on who you ask. Was it real? Nobody knows, but the mystery alone was enough to send journalists sprinting for headlines. The speculation hit overdrive. Twitter theories went from wild to completely unhinged. Some claiming the footage was part of a secret documentary, others saying it was leaked by a juror. At this point, the story's so tangled, even Netflix couldn't script it better. And that's what makes this entire thing feel surreal. The footage didn't just shake the case, it turned it into entertainment. Fans are laughing, crying, arguing, and streaming all at once. The truth is drowning in retweets, and while the internet fights for answers, one man's fate hangs in the balance, like the final act of a movie nobody can predict. Because in this saga, every leak is a plot twist. Every silence is a message. Every meme might just be the prophecy of what's coming next. By the time the smoke started to clear, the YNW Melly case wasn't just a trial anymore. It was a cultural circus. The footage had rewired public opinion, rewired media coverage, and rewired the entire definition of reasonable doubt. For months, this story sat in the corner of hip-hop like a sleeping volcano. And now it had erupted so hard, even people who couldn't spell Melly were suddenly legal analysts on TikTok. Court insiders began whispering that the footage might force a full review of the prosecution's timeline. The lead investigator reportedly got pulled into emergency meetings, and journalists claimed he looked like a man trying to hold back an avalanche with a broom. Meanwhile, the defense team was all smiles, cool, confident, walking into court like they just dropped a diss track that broke the internet. One lawyer was even spotted wearing shades indoors, like this was the Grammys. The audacity was cinematic. But the real shocker came when the judge announced that the footage would be formally reviewed in chambers. That tiny piece of news turned into the biggest headline of the year. Fans celebrated like their team just won the finals. Memes flooded the timeline. Melly's face photoshopped onto LeBron holding a trophy. Captions reading "Not guilty energy." The courtroom hadn't even seen the evidence yet, but the crowd had already built the parade float. Then, out of nowhere, the prosecution's office released a statement calling the footage potentially misleading. They said it had questionable origins and could be manipulated or incomplete. In plain English, they were saying, "We don't know where it came from, but please stop believing it. Too late." Once the internet believes something, it's harder to stop than a Kanye rant. By now, the ripple effects had reached every corner of the rap game. Artists who once kept their distance from Melly started sliding back into his DMs. Producers hinted at collaborations. Even streaming platforms that had quietly buried his music started promoting it again. Suddenly, Murder on My Mind was back in the top charts, surrounded by TikTok dance remixes that would have made 2019 blush. It was both poetic and terrifying. Like fame and infamy had finally become the same currency. At the same time, the victims' families were furious. They accused the internet of turning tragedy into a game, of treating their loss like a trending hashtag. And they weren't wrong. Somewhere between the memes and conspiracy threads, the human part of the story got buried under viral noise. But that's the dark truth of this digital age. Emotion doesn't trend unless it's exaggerated. Then came the next twist. Because of course, there was another twist. A tech forensic group claimed they analyzed the leaked footage and found digital inconsistencies. Translation: it might be edited. But before anyone could process that, another outlet dropped a bombshell saying they had verified parts of it. Every headline contradicted the last one. Every exclusive cancelled out the previous breaking news. It was chaos wearing a suit, and Melly, still smiling, still tweeting cryptic lines like, "The truth don't hide forever." That tweet alone got over 1 million likes and turned into the internet's new favorite quote. Fans printed it on shirts, influencers used it as captions. You could feel the power shift in real time. Melly wasn't just a defendant anymore. He'd become a myth. The courtroom atmosphere changed too. Every new hearing drew crowds like a concert. Reporters lined up for hours just to grab 5 seconds of footage. It felt less like a murder trial and more like the Travis Scott Astroworld tour, except with gavel drops instead of beat drops. And through it all, the defense team kept repeating the same line. The footage tells a different story. The prosecution tried to silence that phrase, but it was already living rent-free in every headline. Outside the courthouse, fans chanted, "Free Melly," like it was a political movement. They held posters, phones, and hope in equal measure. Some said they didn't even care about the legal details. They just wanted to see the system lose for once. That's the thing about this case. It stopped being about evidence and started being about emotion. When the official court review finally happened, the footage was shown privately, away from cameras. But within hours, rumors leaked faster than the actual video did. Some said it exonerated him. Others said it showed nothing new. Nobody agreed on the facts, but everyone agreed on one thing. This case was bigger than one man. It had become a mirror for how easily truth can get distorted when fame's involved. Then, like the cherry on top of this insanity sundae, an anonymous source dropped an audio clip claiming to be from inside the review session. The clip was muffled and half audible, but you could hear people gasping. The internet instantly decided it was the sound of freedom or guilt, depending on which team you were on. Within hours, hashtags like "verdict incoming" and "Melly Files 2" were trending worldwide. This story was no longer a news item. It was entertainment. It was prophecy. It was the kind of narrative that reminded everyone how blurred the line between celebrity and reality had become. YNW Melly's name was now stamped next to OJ, Tupac, and every other cultural lightning bolt that split the timeline in two. As the dust settled, one eerie fact remained. No one really knew what was true anymore. The footage could save him, it could destroy him, or it could be just another piece of misinformation in the world's loudest courtroom, the internet. And that's the scariest part. Truth doesn't matter when the narrative's already viral. In the weeks that followed, Melly's fan base doubled. Documentaries were announced. A major network hinted at a limited series. Even Netflix reportedly called his legal team for comment. The man who once faced life in prison had become the centerpiece of a billion-click empire. It's poetic in the darkest way possible. Only in 2025 could alleged murder footage turn into a marketing opportunity. But not everyone's celebrating. Behind the headlines, 2 families are still grieving. 2 lives are still gone. And that's the haunting echo beneath all the memes, hashtags,